Hey everybody, it's Maria Kast from Core Leadership Development, and I am here with my friend, colleague, and new business partner, Bani Aello, and we are super excited to be here today.
Yes, I'm excited too. I'm excited about what we have to share with everyone and about what we've been up to.
Yes, absolutely. So Bani and I have been doing some work together over the last couple months, and we have been growing exponentially through the process. And we wanted to bring some of the ideas and topics to you because we figured, you know what? If this is helping us, we are able to help others. And that's really what we want to do here is we want to bring some ideas and concepts of our work together. And, you know, maybe there's something you're going to grab from it that's going to help to advance you in your life. So that's why we're here, and we're excited to do that.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing is we're both teachers, and I'm learning so much from you, and you're learning from me. And so that's kind of what it's about, like sharing what we know and our experiences. And that's why we're excited to share this with all of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, you know, what I'm curious about is the work we've been doing. You've really been helping me to tap into my own personal inner guidance, right? To be able to step away from really business as usual, where I'm just working on autopilot and tapping into that inner voice, inner guidance, those feelings that I need to move forward both confidently with my relationships in my family, but you know, very importantly as well is within my business. With my business. So I'm curious, Bani, how did this happen for you that you got into this work?
So it's, let's see, I guess it was maybe about 14 years ago, and I was going through a pretty traumatic change in my life and started to do, really looking around myself for answers and outside of myself from other people or other things that were going to bring me a greater sense of peace or a greater sense of fulfillment from life and things like that. And I really just came to this awareness that it wasn't really about changing something in my outside world. It was about changing something in the inside world. And so I dug into that kind of work. And the more that I did that inner work on myself, the more I realized that my life around me was transforming. So instead of focusing on trying to get all the situations in my outside life, my work, my relationships, and so on to change, I did the work inside, and then the outside things just started to transform, really.
Yeah, it was almost like you got into alignment with where you wanted to go, right?
Yeah,
and move forward.
Right, and there was a while where I didn't know where I wanted to go. I just know I wanted a greater sense of peace, joy of life, fulfillment, more ease about life, because it just seemed so hard and so, you know, difficult and painful. And I was wanting some help with all that. And I realized that the help really was by going within to do the inner work.
Yeah.
And that's a lot about what we're going to talk about here is like what kind of inner work to do and how.
Right, exactly. And how you can use it in all areas of your life, right? That it's not just for relationships or just for when you don't feel peaceful, but you can use it in your business, in moving forward with decisions or transitions, right? So it's cool. Yeah, when you were just talking about that you were looking for more joy and peace, it brought me back to really, I've always been a personal growth junkie, right? My whole life. I'm always reading different books since I can remember, since high school, really. But I have a significant memory of the first time where I had really exponential growth. And that was, 5 years ago now. I got sober. And I did that because I had some challenges with my son. And I knew that if I was going to help him, I was always trying to fix something outside, right? Like I needed to figure out how to control him or change him or change the situation. And finally I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And when I stepped away, it was like, what do I need to do? You know what? I need to get sober so that I can feel peace, because I need to be the best for my son. So that was really, 5 years ago was that tipping point for me where it all really changed. And then, like you said, you did that inner work. I did the inner work, and everything outside of me ended up changing because it ended up being how I looked at it, right? And I wasn't using alcohol at the time to deal with all the outside circumstances. I changed something in me.
Yeah.
So it was huge.
Yeah, that is huge. Well, and that kind of reminds me of, because I even like years when I was younger, when I was in my marriage and would get struggles with my marriage or whatever it was. And, I'd go to the bookstore and look, like I was hoping nobody else was looking while I was like in the personal growth section or self-help section. I hated that they called it self-help because in our culture, it's hard to admit that we need help with things. I mean, we all want to kind of put on this facade that we're okay and we're doing really well and everything's fine, but and we tend to kind of hide, and I would hide my struggles that I was going through and just kind of put on this smile that I don't really think I was fooling many people, but I'd go into these bookstores and then find a book, and even when I go up to the counter to like pay for it, I'd have like the cover, the face down so no one like saw the title of it, and like secretly trying to read these books and figure out like how I can gain more peace in my life or how I can work through some of these struggles I was having. So I can relate to that, and it really was, I think, what really pushed me to get the biggest growth was a friend really encouraged me to step way out of my comfort zone and go to a personal growth class where, things had been falling apart. My marriage had ended not that long ago, and I have, difficulties with my child with special needs, and just kind of dealing with all of that moving forward in life. And in this course, I think I was at a point where I was ready to like, okay, I'm ready to open up and do this work instead of being, because I was definitely the queen of denial. Like I would just deny that I had anything going on. I was like really an expert on like figuring out what was wrong with everyone else and what they needed to do, but I would definitely not want to look at myself. That was very hard for me to, and I finally came to a point where it's like, okay, I'm going to look, but it was so hard to look inward and at myself and at my own stuff.
Yeah, that's funny because I see you now and I can't imagine you then, right? Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
So where that brings peace to me is that we can change, right?
Yeah.
What I see in you now is not at all what you're speaking of that you used to be. So that's this hopeful place of, you know what? We are constantly evolving. We are constantly changing. And when we embrace that, and don't try to hide it by hiding books, right?
Yeah.
Actually just go full on and get into it.
Right.
It can shift who we are dramatically.
Yeah.
And when we do that, what we bring to the world is more authentically who we were meant to be.
Yeah.
Right? So that's huge.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm glad I know you now.
Yeah, me too.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Cool. So, I would love to leave our audience with a takeaway for this first little mini session, just introducing ourselves. And I don't know what you're feeling, but my thought is just, asking you all to watch the videos, because we want to help you to embrace this idea of, what needs to change in me for my circumstances to change? Actually, that's a James Allen quote. People are anxious to change their circumstances, but unwilling to change themselves. They therefore remain bound. So if there's any of you out there that feel bound in some way, bound to a job that maybe you're not excited about, or you're wanting a shift in your position at work, or maybe just in your life. Maybe there's something, whether it's marriage and relationship with a child, whatever it is, if you feel like you're stuck or bound in this one place, it's time to look at you, right? And we want to give you hope and encouragement that that's something that we did, and it shifted and evolved us in a great way. So we're looking forward to bringing this content to you, and appreciate that you're watching.
Yeah. And I just want to say that it's possible for everybody, because I can remember being at a point in my life where like, oh no, that's, other people, things can get better and really awesome in their lives in all these different areas. But I just think, it's too late for me, or it's not possible for me. But I just want to let everyone know it is possible, and it is definitely available to everyone. Yeah. And we're excited to share it with you so that you can experience it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Bani. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.